Welcome to Monkeys Unfiltered, the podcast where chaos meets conversation, and the unexpected is always on the menu. Join hosts Leanne, Jason, and Hayden as they swing through life's absurd, hilarious, and thought-provoking moments. No topic is too wild, no opinion is too untamed. Get ready for unfiltered banter, laughs, and a barrel of fun. This is Monkeys Unfiltered.
Since the day you came along, I've been so glad, recalling every second of the times that we've had. Simple things you say and do are all I'll ever need. No matter where you go, you should always know that I can't imagine staring into other eyes. I can't imagine kissing someone else goodnight. Don't know where I'd be if you had never come along, but loving you is the only thing that's real. But I can't imagine facing the day without you right beside me, lighting the way. When I ask you this question, I want you to know that I will always love you. Welcome to Monkeys Unfiltered. That was the intro to the song for my first dance at my wedding with my wife, Ariel, who happens to be present on this episode of the Monkeys Unfiltered podcast.
Yay!
Welcome, wife.
Hi.
Yay.
Wow.
I'm so glad that you're here.
More
This
guests.
is like the last of the monkey spouses, right?
Yeah, this is it. Everybody's been here now.
Yeah.
So we played with the idea of literally just going to task with Apple and playing the song as the intro, but decided that since Apple owns the rights, maybe that might not be a fight we're willing to do.
Yeah.
So
I mean, even though we
decided to just read the lyrics instead of play the song.
Even though we only have 8 listeners, we'd not like to have our podcast pulled all over the place. So,
Hey, like Disney used to go after people who had like really minimal like trademark issue. Like they don't care, man.
Yeah,
Like
they
mega
don't.
corporations, they have to protect their brand,
Even
They don't.
Nintendo's like that. Any little thing, man, they'll come after you.
Oh, I
so
bet.
speaking of Disney, and I know we recently did an episode on pet peeves. Can I just tell you that, like, they have lost their mind? They have
Who is
flat
it?
Disney. They have flat lost
Yeah.
their mind. It was a holiday weekend recently, and my husband, he likes to go to Epcot, and we're thinking about, yeah, okay, we'll drive over for the day. It's like a, less than an hour drive for us. We'll pop over there. And I'm like, well, let me go online and see how much tickets are. He's like, I looked for Florida residents. They're $100. And I'm like, oh, okay. Let me verify, right? Trust, but verify. Isn't that how it goes? Well,
Right.
let me verify. Well, it was a holiday. $170 each for the day. No Florida discount. And I was like,
It's highway
Okay.
robbery.
Don't think so.
done with Disney.
I don't know, but like a Big Mac meal is like $18, right?
Right.
I
What was
think it's
that,
just
Ariel?
inflation in general. Everything has lost its mind.
Yeah.
100% without
Seriously.
a doubt.
Your husband tried to order a $27 sandwich today and then thought better of it.
Well, so that's the thing.
$27.
Has
No.
gotten completely out of control. I'm sorry. Generic sandwich shop has gotten way out of control. And they seem to think that their little pissy, like, quote unquote, 1 foot sandwiches are worth $13 to $14. And it's just not the case.
And they're
You
totally
mean the
not.
$5 deal?
Right,
Do
remember
they
when
have
it was
that?
Sir, I don't know
$5
what you're talking
long?
about. That's
Yeah. Do they have that anymore? $5?
speculation.
Right.
Do what?
But it's all because of COVID.
Oh, okay.
Wait, is this a pet peeve episode, or is this an episode where we're gonna pick Ariel's brain and make her tell us funny stories?
No, yeah, let's stop talking about sandwiches and start talking about my wife. So as always, we have a set of interview questions that we pose to all our guests that come here. Would anyone like to get us started?
Sure, I will. Ariel, welcome to Monkeys Unfiltered.
Hey.
Great question.
I know. I just wanted to see the look on her face. Like, I know the listeners can't see it, but I'm looking at her face. Just, this is priceless. Well, because in all fairness, out of all the monkey spouses, your wife is probably the most reserved. Whereas, like, my husband doesn't really care. And, Cheyenne already has, like, a presence online. She's used to doing it. So, anyhow. Okay, Ariel, what is your favorite holiday movie, and what do you think that it says about you?
Holiday movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do a lot of.
One.
I know I can't just pick one though. I'm gonna pick like a genre because there's not just one. Christmas movies. And I think it's because Christmas movies give a nice little happily ever after, pretty much guaranteed. Like they don't make a Christmas movie with a bad ending, right?
True.
So yeah, I watch Christmas movies because it's going to be happy, and I don't like for movies to imitate real life. We have plenty of roll stuff and doom and gloom in real life. If I'm going to watch a movie or read a book, it needs to be a happily ever after and a happy little reprieve from real life.
It's a good thing I love you because I hate Christmas movies.
Well, yeah, and then there are those of us on the internet who love punishment and look at things like creepypastas and play horror games and stuff like that.
What is that
Yup.
screaming robot thing you have me watch? Like,
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
not down.
Yeah. We've been watching The Backrooms by Kane Pixels together.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no. I don't do creepy
Hayden,
stuff.
I also got her to watch Greylock. Have you seen that?
I don't think I've seen that. No.
Oh, buddy.
It's kind of crazy. All right.
Oh.
Well,
So
I got us
anyway.
started. Who's going to keep us going?
It was a good starter, but I want to hear how from your, because I've heard his perspective, but I want to hear your perspective of how the two of y'all met.
Good. I was going to ask this later.
I thought that was just like a hardball at the beginning.
Yeah, no, totally.
I mean, yeah, I also know his, viewpoint of it. Took me years to actually pry that out of him, but I now know his viewpoint. So yeah, I actually met him because I was avoiding dealing with a breakup. And so I got on a dating app and thought that, oh, he's 500 miles away. He's a nice distraction from my feelings that I don't want to deal with, right? That's super healthy.
Oh man, a rebound.
I mean, it totally worked out.
A rebound. Dun, dun, dun.
And so he started saying, oh, what if I had feelings for you? And I was like, I'd say you're crazy. Like, you don't know me. I don't know you. You need to shut up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think were pretty much the literal words that I gave you. And then we just kind of kept talking, and God's just funny like that. Ended up one of my best friends was in college at the same place he was. And so I went to visit her after I graduated college before I started teaching in January. And so we met up, and within 2 weeks, I think we had decided to do a long distance relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yup.
props to y'all because long distance is not easy.
It
Yeah,
sucked.
We went for like a year, I think, right? It was like
Um,
January to February, so it was like 13 months.
yeah,
Was it a whole
something
year?
like that.
Mm-hmm. It's 13 months.
Yeah.
I just remember.
And then it took us 8 months to get married.
I just
after
remember
that.
the day you came to my house and you were like, I'm moving to Alabama. And I'm like, excuse me?
Yep. Yeah, you were not okay.
No, and I'm still not okay, but I mean, I'm okay, but I'm not okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while I know the answer to this question, I think it's good for our listeners to hear. Did you always want to be insert profession here? I'm just kidding. Did you always want to be a teacher?
No, not always. But for a good chunk of my life, yeah. I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I was younger. Like, everybody asks you, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I'm like, I don't know. tossed around a lot of things because I don't have a whole lot of things that I am like just super, super good at. There's a lot of things I like to do. But like nothing stood out to me a whole lot. I was good at math. Like, what do you do with that? My mom's an accountant. I know I don't want that job. So like, what do you really do with that? Um, so I got into 7th grade, which was considered high school at my school. And I'm sitting there in the class with a literal 100. Like it's boring for me. Like it's entirely too easy. And the teacher knew that. So she actually started me tutoring. Like she didn't have room in her tutoring schedule to take on any other students. So I started doing tutoring and I fell in love with that light bulb moment of where someone's struggling and you have to figure out a way to explain it in a different way and trying to get them to understand. And so then I was like, okay, I think this is something that I actually might want to do. Um, Went to college and started being an RA also, which was very similar. And now I'm closing in on 10 years. So I guess I picked correctly.
So, yeah, you went to Auburn and were a
Mhm.
residence assistant, so it helped you pay your tuition, or rather room and board at least. So,
Yeah.
like, the financial burden was kind of lifted a little bit through that, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Like I didn't have to pay any room, board, rent, anything like that. And they paid me a small stipend every week to basically like they gave me a budget too, and they're like, do haul events. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna tie dye. So I would go to Walmart on their dime, buy a bunch of tie dye kits, and tie dye with the girls on my floor. Like, it was actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Mm,
If only you could get someone to sponsor your tie-dye habits now.
I know, right?
Right? Like, okay, where's my money for all of my arts and craft love now? Like, where's
Right.
I'm
that?
saying.
That's funny because like Ariel had like a automatic in with Papa Monkey because he too went to Auburn, so like they share that kind
Yeah,
of
that's right.
War Eagle.
Yeah.
Mr.
thing.
Anatomy Man.
Mr. Smarty
Mr.
Anatomy Man
Anatomy Man.
started the road to Smarty Anatomy at Auburn.
Auburn family. That's right.
Yep. Okay, so he set up my question.
Wait.
I'm
Say
sorry.
the words.
War Eagle?
War
There you
Damn
go.
Eagle.
Is that the word? That's right.
which is hard for a Florida Gator to say, but it's okay. It's okay, fish.
But you did it.
I did it.
You did it.
I've done
Proud
it
of you.
numerous times, but anyhow, your husband's question set up my next question because I just kind of always assumed you always wanted to be a teacher because like it's stupidly sick how much you do math in your head and like it's no secret, and I've said it time and time again on the podcast. I do not have an adult relationship with math and numbers, and no, not doing it. So if you were not a teacher, what would you be?
I don't know.
A millionaire because she has a math degree.
Good answer.
I don't even know if I would do something with math though, honestly, if it wasn't in teaching. Like you and I've talked about that. Like out of necessity, if I had to, I would use my degree outside of teaching. But I like making math work, but I don't like the real world aspects of math to some degree. Like I don't want to sit behind a desk all day and crunch numbers.
Yeah, no.
I'm with that.
Me too.
Like that's not my jam. That's what my mom does, and it just has never. She does taxes and accounting and payroll and all those things, and I'm like, I mean, I see how needed that is. She makes sure people get paid correctly, but like, that ain't for me.
Hot take. It's not needed. Taxes are not needed.
Taxes are not making sure
I mean,
your
like
paycheck
payroll
is
and stuff
correct.
like that, though.
Yeah, okay. Like, fine.
Okay.
Nobody needs tax.
Okay.
You want roads, huh?
Taxes technically pay my salary
true.
too, though. So there's that.
There you go. So, I guess I'll keep the teacher train rolling. What's your
Whoop, whoop.
what are you most proud of accomplishment wise in your career?
That's a twofold thing.
You have a really good answer for this now.
He should be proud of this.
there's a twofold thing. So, first of all, I love keeping up with my students and getting to see what they accomplish because just playing a small part in what they do in the hard days, like that's really what you go back to. But personally, I just achieved, national board certification. So that's like a long
Yay!
process.
National, that means the whole
But
nation.
Yeah.
All of
And
them.
like it's
She could teach
a
all them
very small
kids.
percentage of teachers, have that like certification. And so yeah, it was like 2 years of work.
Dang.
Long time of waiting for
That's a-
scores and things, but
That's a whole bachelor's degree.
Yeah, y'all don't even know what goes into this. She basically wrote like multiple thesis statements, or thesis papers.
Yeah.
Like each question she had to respond to, and there were several, required like multi-page papers.
Yeah. I remember
Couldn't
visiting
do
with
it.
you guys when she was going through the process, and I'm just like, man, does she like ever not? But then I
It just caught
remember,
us at a super busy time.
yeah, was it last Christmas? You waited for your, and I was calling every day, like, did she get her results? Did she get her results? Did she get her results? Because I was
Yeah.
like super invested at that point.
yeah, because you just saw me studying for the test portion.
Yeah.
There's 4 components, and like I'd already submitted all the papers at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 4 components, and 3 of them are papers that are written from different perspectives. Like you have to record yourself and digest like what you did in the recording and how that, exemplifies being a qualified teacher. You have to take student work samples and talk about why you made the choices you made. Like it's just all sorts of different things, and it's a whole lot of. It's a whole big binder I have of just directions. Like the directions themselves are like over 100 pages. So, yeah,
I like the
it's a
church
lot.
instructions from last week.
Right. Yo, and
I'm
it's
so-
crazy too. Like she had to finish all this stuff in like June, and then she had to get her results back in like December. So it
Yeah,
was a
that was
long
ridiculous.
waiting period.
That is ridiculous.
Mm-mm.
Because that's all the time that they're going through and reading our papers and like grading it and everything. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a long wait, but I'm done.
Nice. Very
Now
cool.
in 4 years, I just have to do the recertification, which is a different process, but
Sure, it's
It's
not
a little less
as
tedious
bad.
though, right? Yeah.
it's just smaller. Yeah, it's a lot smaller, condensed.
Word.
Word.
Okay, well,
Word.
so moving off of your job for a little while, what's a funny story that your family tells about you that you'd like to share?
Oh, there's a bunch.
The look on her face said it all. Oh.
Hmm.
I don't know, Jace. What's the story you want me to tell? Because you've heard most of them.
Yeah, I've heard a lot.
What's your
Just for
favorite story that
clarification
gets
for the
told?
audience, Jace is Jason.
It's Jason.
Yeah.
I know that was like a really hard thing to figure
I
out.
just
So
wanna-
I'm proud of you, those who have already done it.
Well,
make
But in
sure.
case you didn't, like Hayden's here to help you.
Well,
Yeah,
and if
because
we're really getting
we
technical,
struggle
he's
sometimes
Dakota.
to still call you Dakota.
Right?
Look.
That's why I'm saying if you want to get technical.
Story should I tell about myself, Jace?
That's
don't even
entirely you're the interviewee.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so I think I'm gonna tell one that's actually like kind of about me and my brother. Because it shows a little bit of like my I'm willing to wait if I feel like I've been targeted or something. I get revenge, but very sneakily. So
I can never picture your wife getting revenge.
oh, just wait.
Mm.
So he's 6 years older than me, and he had a friend come over and was like spending the weekend at our house or whatever. And his friend was being just downright like mean. Like there's just no other way to put it. Like he thought it was hilarious to scare the like 4-year-old, 5-year-old that I was. Maybe I was a little bit older, but I don't think I was much older than that because I don't think I was even like in like maybe I was 5 before I'd started kindergarten. And so he had this like Halloween costume hand that was like a skeleton hand. He'd come up and like grab me, and of course I'd scream. And so I like begged, like, will y'all just leave me alone? Like, I will go in another room. Like, y'all just stay on that side of the house. Like, just leave me be. And my brother had been like, oh, yeah, well, sure. And then he didn't follow through with it, whatever. And so finally at one point, I'm like, you know what? He has to go home, but you have to stay here with me. Just remember that. And so he goes home and, like, I mean, a couple of weeks go by at this point, and I'm wondering, like, how I'm gonna get him back. And my brother's even, like, stopped kind of waiting for it at this point because he was waiting for it. Like, he was waiting to see what I was gonna do. And so I snuck in his room one day, and I took this battery-operated doll that when you would squeeze her, she would, like, say different phrases.
That's not creepy.
And I put it
Not
under
at
his
all.
mattress.
Oh,
So
man.
when he got in bed that night, it would go off, but not consistently, right? Because it had to have the right pressure put on her. And so I have, like, army crawled down the hallway, and I'm, like, peeking through the, like, crack of his door, watching him freak out because it goes, come and play with me. And then he goes, what the heck was that? And then, you're my best friend.
That's
I love you.
creepy.
And so by this point, right. By this point, he has, like, chunked the blankets off the bed. He's standing up going like, what is happening? Like, what is going on? And I've, like, holding my laughter. Meanwhile, my parents' room is, like, across from my brother's room. So, like, my parents can see me in the floor doing all of this. And my dad is, like, almost gone and got me, like, what is going on? Mom's like, hang on. No, she's up to something, but I want to know what she's up to before, like, we go any deeper into this. And so about the time that he screams out at one point, he's like, what is happening? I start laughing and I can't hold it anymore. So then he comes up and he's like, I'm going to kill you. And I go, why? I told you I get you back. And so then, like, I jump in my parents' room because he's, like, going to try to kill me, like, truly. And my mom goes, I don't think that you get to get mad at her, Jeremy. Like, my brother, she was like, you know, she told you to stop messing with her a few weeks ago and you didn't. So
So you
this
got what you
is
deserved.
Paid him
justified.
consequences.
So, but he was just like, I waited for you to do something. And I was like, yeah, I know. That's why I didn't do anything during that
Wait, I
time.
waited
Like,
for you to stop waiting.
exactly.
Mhm.
And, like, I mean,
Okay.
I was little and, like, yeah.
I didn't think I would ever say this about your wife, Jason. She's a little diabolical.
She very well can be.
Only
And you
when
gotta
well
remember, like,
deserved.
yeah, exactly. This
Right.
is like childhood, like, yeah.
All right. All
Listen,
right.
I was the only girl. Like, I was growing up in around like the middle of a bunch of boys. Like, you do what you got to. Survival.
You got to
Mhm.
hang in there.
Survival.
Survival of the fittest. All right. So we'll change the topic a little bit. Tell us about your most favorite trip you've ever been on.
My favorite trip. I think it's the first time I went to Disney World
What?
with my family.
Oh, Jason's face.
I
It's
know.
what?
The woman's been to Mongolia and she's like, Disney World.
Well, this is a different, like, okay, I mean, that is a good trip too, but, like,
I was kind of
I'm
thinking
just messing with you.
Hawaii was pretty
Yeah, there's
awesome.
that too.
well, this was the first trip that I got my parents, like, by myself. Like, so my brother was with the band, and I actually got to miss school for this trip, which never happened
Oh,
in my
so
house.
therein lies the
Sold.
secret,
Done
right?
right there,
Done.
yeah.
Over.
Yeah, I was in 4th grade, and my brother was going with the band, and I was like, okay, it's not my turn, but, like, I'm also a 4th grade girl named after a Disney character, and I'm not going to Disney. Like, excuse me. And so I actually got to have both my parents, like, to myself, which as the younger child never happened. So
Do you feel that way, Hayden?
there's a lot of
You never get
What?
your
Yeah, Hayden
parents
is
to yourself?
incredibly neglected and nobody likes him.
Do I feel
so-
like I don't get my parents to myself?
Yeah.
Well, my parents aren't married to each other, so I don't get them at the same time, so I couldn't tell you.
Well, but I mean, do you just feel like you don't get them to yourself?
Well, my dad has a 5-year-old, so no.
You probably wish your mom would just
Yeah,
go
but
away and
all
leave
the
you
way
alone.
up until very recently, I mean, Yeah, exactly.
Well, I could see why that would be a favorite trip. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I don't really think about Mongolia as like a trip necessarily. Like it was,
Yeah.
An experience.
it was a trip, but
Well,
it was,
You can talk about that one too if you want.
yeah. So it was a mission trip, and I was teaching English to middle school and high schoolers in Mongolia, and it was amazing. Met some truly lifelong friends. Like one of the girls that I met on that trip was a bridesmaid in my wedding, and I was in hers. Like truly an amazing experience. Just that's like a whole different like it was 5 weeks, so it was more than just like a quick trip too. Um it was like almost like I lived in it, like it was the longest trip that I've ever had. So I guess that's why I don't think about it as a trip necessarily.
Yeah.
It's like an exchange thing almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cuz I was teaching though. That was actually my first taste of teaching for real too. It was teaching English, which was a whole different ball game. But
Right.
yeah.
Cool. Okay, I could live with Disney being her favorite.
Yeah, for you and I, it's like like we were talking about earlier. It's a weekend trip. Like, who cares? We live in Florida,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
For her, it was a big deal.
Yeah, me,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't care if I never go to Disney again. That's okay.
You told us a little bit about your brother, but like, what about the rest of your family? Like, tell us about them.
What about the rest of your family?
What
tell us
about them?
That's
them a
the
little bit.
question.
Do you have other brothers and sisters?
Yeah,
Like, are you close with your parents?
What's the dynamic like?
So I have one brother. He's married. We actually got married a month in between each other. So Jason and I got married, and then a month later, my brother and sister-in-law got married. So it was just wedding season at our house during that time.
That was nice of them to let y'all go first.
They initially wanted our date.
Oh,
Yeah. But I was like,
Yeah.
I got engaged first. I met mine first. Like, we're doing it.
Like, chill out, dude. You were born first. Let me have something first.
Let me get one.
Well, I'm older than his wife, actually. So,
yeah. Pecking order. Get in line.
yeah. And then, so it's my parents, and I was extremely close to my grandparents before they passed. My grandmother actually passed like 2 months after we got married. And that was really hard, but I'm also really thankful that she was able to be there.
Yeah.
And have those memories, because some of my favorite things was that whole summer before we got married, I DIY'd most of the stuff for our wedding with my mom and grandmother. So I was at my grandparents' house like every weekend and a lot during the summer, like putting together bouquets and centerpieces and
a
all
cool
those
memory.
things.
Yeah, that's a cool
Yeah,
memory
like
to have. Yeah.
like I remember like just sitting there and we'd do something and then we'd redo it or like ask what each other thought, and it was just a really good time with my grandmother too, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's nice.
That's sweet.
You don't have any other
and
furry family members?
Well, I know y'all just talked about the
Oh,
dogs
yeah. We
last
talked
week.
about Max,
Yeah,
but y'all
but I
have other
mean-
animals.
There's other animals. Did you have
Um,
any other dogs growing up?
Oh gosh, yes. We had dogs all the time growing up. Um, I was actually scared of dogs when I was very little, if y'all can believe that, with how I am with animals now.
Right.
My brother had a dog that was a half German Shepherd, half Collie named Lady, and I would scream if she got near me, like bloody murder. Like you would think that I was being mauled or something. And she would just like mope around. Like she wanted to be my best friend, and I wanted nothing to do with her. So my granddad one day brings me a dog, a thoroughbred black lab, and I look at him like he's crazy, and I'm like, "You brought me a dog? Like, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Yeah, I brought you a dog," and I'm like, "I don't know about this." Well, this dog, his name was Jake, and we actually kind of rescued him because he was going fishing in the neighbor's coin pond and like
Oh,
getting all his
nice.
like big koi goldfish and like yeah.
Yeah.
So that neighbor was like, "You got to do something with that dog." So my granddad goes, "Oh, I know somewhere where he'll be real happy," because we grew up in middle of nowhere, and we have like a pond in our front yard, and he was able to do all the fishing.
All the fishing he
Um,
wanted.
hmm
He thought
And
he
so
died
we
and
had
gone to heaven.
yeah, we only had outside dogs, so they got to run around and roam and everything. And so he gets this dog out of the back of the truck, and this dog literally makes a beeline straight up our steps at the front porch to me, knocks me over, and starts licking my face. Well, of course, everyone goes into action like they think I'm about to start screaming because I'm only like 2, 3 years old. Like I'm super little. This is one of my first memories that I have vividly of my own memories or whatever.
Right.
This was your activation moment.
Yeah, and so I can even tell you what dress I was wearing. Like I
Player one,
know
activate.
what blanket I was sitting on. Like it is a core, like forever ingrained in my mind memory. And my granddad's just like, "Calm down," and then I just started laughing. And from that day on, like I was no longer scared of dogs. Like I don't even know. This dog was something special.
Mhm.
Um,
That's the
and
way
so
it
yeah,
happens.
we had him till I was 14.
Wow.
Yeah, long
Yeah,
time.
and he looked out for you a number of times, right?
Oh yeah, like they were always doing like weird stuff. Like we call them like babysitter dogs because like if we started going near the pond or anything, like Lady would actually like tug our shirt back and like pull us down and then growl at us to like go back.
Yeah.
Like
Get your behindy back on the porch.
she was like, "We're not doing this."
Right.
Yeah, and so he was
There was a time you got like Saving Private Ryan, right? Like
yeah. So we had a super long driveway. See, now he's got all the stories. Like I asked for a story earlier and he got nothing, but now he's got all of them. Um, and I was little, like I was still really young. I had just learned to ride a bike and I fell. And the way I fell, like my knee was like pretty cut open pretty bad. Like I was a little banged up. It was a gravel driveway. And we were too far away from the house. So he actually laid down and like rolled underneath me, and Lady came over and pulled me onto his back, and like he literally carried me back to the house. Like I know this is stuff that you think happens in like TV shows or whatever,
Right,
but it was
right.
my childhood. And then Lady like runs after we get past the pond. She goes and like starts scraping on the door. And my mom comes out because she's like, "What is happening?" And she sees me like on Jake's back, and she freaks out because she's like, "What is happening?" Um,
What has happened to my child?
right.
That's
And
a
now
great
we have
story.
Magsy and 2 cats, which I never had cats growing up because my brother's allergic, but now I have cats.
Okay, your one
well,
your
and
one cat is
one
actually a cow.
our fat cat might as well be a dog or better yet, a pig or a
A
True.
cow,
small cow.
right? Our little cat, which we just call Kitten, her real name is Daffodil. We've gone with like a flower thing for the cats. But I don't think she gets called Daffodil almost ever anymore.
No.
We've nicknamed her Daffy for like Daffy Duck, because she's like all black. She's got like some blonde spots or whatever on
She
her,
has
but
no tail.
she
Well,
is
she quacks.
100% cat. Yeah, she does. She squeaks and quacks.
She's not meow unless something's like wrong.
That's
She's
like
Yeah,
she's an
that,
odd duck.
that's like that dog
literally.
when we were in New York, Mom's little bear. She
Oh
squeaked.
God. Yes. Yeah, that dog yeah. She made this noise. Yeah. Like,
Oh my god.
well, it's like she was talking to you in anime voice, right? So you talk to her, you'd talk to her and they'd be like and I'm like, is that dog talking in a foreign language?
That's funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. All right.
All right.
Or you want to round us out, Jason?
In honor of one of our most recent episodes, what is one of your biggest pet peeves?
Oh, that's actually kind of a hard question.
It was.
I know you got some.
We didn't have a problem. We filled up an
Start
hour with
rolling
no
out
time.
the list.
I know, right?
Your husband and I, Hayden was over in the
Easy.
corner going, I don't really have any pet peeves.
Well, here's my
here's
issue.
the thing: is we took it easy too. Like there could have been
I could have
easily
went
another
hard.
hour at
I
least.
could have
yeah.
throttled on that one.
I have a hard time thinking about them not in the moment. In the moment, like, oh, I'm so irritated. But when I'm just sitting here, like, calm as a cucumber, like, I don't know what it is.
Mhm.
So, is it
I
a,
actually said that at the end of the episode.
yeah. Is it a pet peeve for you when the kids in your classroom say skivvy toilet?
That's yes.
I think it's a bigger pet peeve when they
Want you to do a Utah fit check?
Oh my
do
God.
some of the other, like,
She's gonna start dropping those into every
human
episode
Every
things.
somewhere
She
now.
episode.
does.
It's like a whole feature now.
Oh Lord.
Boomers, come get your lost one. We have her over here.
We got monkey mischief. Now we're gonna have monkey slang.
It's like,
No,
oh
that's
Lord.
what do they call themselves? That's Gen Alpha slang. Alpha for like
Yeah.
what? Alpha for like we're first, we don't know what we doing.
Yeah,
No.
pretty much.
They ran out of letters.
Right.
Right. So they're going to Greek alphabet.
Right.
Yeah.
But then that's when you don't have to edit out. Oh my gosh.
So you're gonna pass on that question because I have another one.
I mean, I can't think of one off the top of my head right now.
All right. If you, and this is important,
I know where
and there
this one's
is correct
going.
answers to this, right? If you won $10 million tomorrow, what would you spend it on?
$10 million. What would I spend it on?
Mm.
These questions, man, I'm not good at this.
Visiting your mother-in-law.
Well, I know Jason would want to just like get a compound going where everybody could just live together. That's what he would want to do.
Yes.
See, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's been his
He would
wish
just
since
want
he
everybody
was
all together.
a tiny child.
Yeah.
Wow. You're
I feel like you're waiting for me to say something specific, and I don't like it.
No.
I'm just waiting for
You
you to
say
say
whatever you
anything.
want. That's your answer. You can say whatever you want.
I might get a new car because right now, we don't know what's going on with mine again. So that's a thing. I don't know what you're wanting from me.
I just hate that you just reminded me of that. Ugh.
Well, we will let you off the hook. How's that? We know you would do great things with it. So
Right. Okay, I can give one more shot in the dark here. What's a common myth about your job?
We get paid during the summer.
That's right. A lot of people don't understand the pay structure. You want to lay that out?
We may make a paycheck in the summer, but it is really because we have had our 9 months of salary that we work for held back from us. So they just spread out 9 months salary over 12 so that we don't starve. But yeah, we actually don't get paid for any of our breaks. Christmas, spring break, none of that. We just get our 9 months spread out over 12.
So Hayden, is that in the affirmative or the negative?
I
Are
know.
you agreeing
Like
or disagreeing?
Like that is bullshit. Like
okay. I thought he was having a stroke.
I'm like,
for a
wait a minute. Like,
nah.
no, I thought he was like, that ain't right. Like, don't pay them at all or something.
No, I mean it's
like,
not.
I don't
It's
know.
not right. You're not getting paid for.
You heard it here first.
Well,
Hayden hates teachers.
and fourth graders. Let's not forget that.
Oh, dude.
But yeah, we don't have any
telling you.
paid vacation as a teacher. There's no
Yeah,
paid
you know-
vacation.
Automatically, whenever like you're at a lack for an episode, you're gonna have to go fight those those fourth graders so we can talk about it.
What do you think we're doing next week?
Oh, spoilers!
No, I don't know that many fourth graders. So true.
Yeah, don't try to get out of this one. You're fighting those fourth graders.
No,
We're gonna see how many
maybe.
it takes. We're gonna see how many it takes. That might be
Cannot
a
wait.
video
So-
episode.
Can I wait for
I
them
know,
to
right?
turn 18 though? That way I don't go to jail.
Oh yeah.
No, you got no. I mean, they wouldn't be fourth graders, right? So you gotta take the hit.
They were
Sorry.
at one point.
So were we. Yeah, you can just fight me. How about that?
Are
Oh
you
my
smarter
God.
than a
Fight me.
5th grader, but can you fight a 4th grader?
Right.
How
That's the new
many?
game show coming.
Yeah. So Hayden shared on an episode that he often, while he was at work, fantasizes about how many fourth graders he could take on.
Fantasize.
I don't know that
How many
fantasize
fourth
is
graders
the
it
right
would
word.
take to take him down.
What an interesting word to put there. He fantasizes about whooping fourth
I don't
graders.
fantasize about it.
Oh my god. Oh
That
my
was
god.
funny.
So back on the topic at hand,
Okay.
Ariel. I'm sorry, wife, you said that it's a myth that you guys get paid for your vacation. So like you've already covered the summer vacation. What about like spring break and all that?
Yeah, none of it's paid technically. Like we are just salaried, so we earn a certain amount. Like they take our days and like that's our day rate. Like we get a salary for the 9 months. Like we have a 180 something day contract that we follow and we are paid for those 180 something days.
Wow, that's almost like working for yourself. No work, no pay.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean that's
Like-
actually
well,
that's what
her
it is.
current school system, I don't know if this is like across the board, you correct me if I'm wrong, but her current school system gives, what is it, like 2 days where you don't have to pay for your sub, but anything after that you do?
Yeah, so we get, and this is statewide, you get 5 personal days where you don't have to account for like what you're doing those days. And they are automatic approved, or at least in our school, it's an automatic approval for those 5 personal days. Some schools are a little bit like you have to provide documentation of different things, but the first 2 we don't have to pay for the sub. The school system pays our sub. The other 3, while we can take them at no, like they just automatically give them to us, we have to pay for our sub for the day. So like they
That's
dock our
lame.
pay, the price of the sub, and then we accrue 1 sick day a month, and the sick days, I mean, they pay our sub and everything, but yeah, we accrue 1 a day. Any personal days that aren't used by the end of the school year roll over into sick days. But sick days are supposed to be used only for like sickness, death,
Sick.
like
I'm
family
sick.
sickness, that kind of things, doctor appointments, those
I'm
things.
sick. I'm sick.
School
No.
is a sham.
It is.
Lots of things are a scam.
Agree. Life is a scam. What's not a scam?
Right on.
But yeah,
What's
everybody's
not a
like,
scam?
"Oh, teachers get their 3 months paid vacation." No, we don't.
No, not at all. And I can attest to that because we look at the bills together.
What's not a scam, Mom?
Yeah, I
What's
was
not a
curious about that
scam?
as well.
What's not a scam? Monkey mischief. Not a scam.
Oh, what a transition.
I know, right? It was kind of rough, but we made it. We're here.
Yep.
It's monkey mischief.
Doesn't have to be really interesting. It just has to kind of work. and really, we get to determine what works. So,
exactly, because
yeah, just take that.
it's our podcast. Anyways, if you've been around, the 3 or 4 of you that hang around, you are acutely aware of what we're talking about. For those of you who may have stumbled onto this podcast totally by accident and don't know why you're still listening, here's why you're still listening. Monkey mischief. On Mondays, we always post on social the beginning of a really, really well thought out dad joke. I mean, just like
Quality,
a quality,
like top
a high
quality,
quality
yeah.
dad joke. There's just none of that bottom of the barrel stuff here. So if you swung through social media on Monday, you would have seen that we posted, "What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet?"
Broom.
Surprise.
You're close. Supplies.
Surprise!
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
We did it. We did it.
I know you guys are on a roll. Dang.
We're trying, dude.
You guys are on a roll.
trying.
Oh, he's trying.
If you think you have a dad joke of that quality and you'd like to have us voice it on air, you can visit us at www.monkeysunfiltered.com. there's a submission form. And if we do voice your joke on air, Hayden, what do they get?
A sticker.
A really cool Monkeys Unfiltered sticker will be coming your way.
Sticker!
He had to run out of the room. Well, thanks for the laugh, guys.
Oh man, well thanks for that. This was a really fun episode. I appreciate you, wife, for showing up. I know the other monkeys do as well.
Appreciate.
I hope all the folks at home enjoyed this little insight into my personal life, Ariel's personal life. Ariel, did you have anything else that you wanted to say before we sign off here?
No.
She's like, thank God it's over.
So yeah, I have one small question before we sign off here. Why don't you follow Monkeys Unfiltered on social media?
Called out.
I'm not on social media all that much.
But you
The
are
numbers.
Do I not follow it though?
saying.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
I don't know. Do you subscribe wherever you get your podcast?
Yeah, I've listened to most of them.
Most. It's
I think
alright.
it's
My
just
wife doesn't
Jason's
listen
way.
either.
And I think it's just Jason's way of letting everybody listening know that we would certainly appreciate some love and support in social media. We would appreciate your likes, your follows, your comments on our social media, and definitely subscribe wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah. So as the great TJ from Ace and TJ would say, I have to slave over this hot microphone. Some appreciation would be nice.
Appreciate.
All right. Well, that does it for this episode. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Join us again next week for Hayden fighting fourth graders. See you then.
I'm not fighting fourth graders.
Fourth graders.
You're locked in now. We're done.
Ciao.
Bye.
Who's your favorite brother-in-law?
Perfect.
That's not on the
My
approved
favorite.
list of questions.
Brother-in-law.
You
plead the
don't
fifth.
have to answer it.
Plead the fifth.
Do you have like a real question, Hayden? Jeez.